they fleeced the teams getting two first round picks. They got the best player in this entire trade
Yeah, right.
and two first round picks. Like Brad
Those picks
Stevens
probably should have gone to the Wizards. Like, if we're realistically speaking.
probably it was probably some miscommunication,
Yeah, finessing from Brad Stevens. I'm not
Exactly,
surprised.
yeah. Well, that's what the Celtics organization has been doing since
True, finessing their point
since
guards all the
time.
time, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
A nice Wednesday afternoon here in Toronto. Of course, you're listening to Quarter Kings with your host Austin Chang, and with me, of course, every other week, Ryan Hugh. How you doing, bro?
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Very tired, but
Tired.
excited to start this one off. Yeah,
You're tired, Ryan. What do you mean? I'm full of energy right now. 11 a.m. This is prime time for me.
that's I woke up an hour ago, but let's get started.
Fine. All right. All right. What's the
No
topic
time
today,
to
Ryan?
waste.
All right. What's the topic today then?
All right, today, we got a few trades that went down, so I want to discuss those, what we think of them, and I want to also talk about the free agent class that we have coming up this Friday at I think 6 p.m.
So soon.
very soon. So that's why we're recording a little bit earlier this week.
hmm
All right. You want me to just
I mean,
get
you want to start with
started?
the news or the free agents? It's your choice.
This this week we no, no big news since everything was kind of just like settling down from the finals.
Oh,
Everyone's kind of just getting ready for the free agency. The draft came up. Obviously, we had Wembenyama going first,
yeah, yeah.
which total surprise,
No surprise. No
total
surprise.
surprise.
Actually, big
No
shock. Yeah, big
surprise.
shock.
Oh, crazy, bro, crazy.
Couldn't believe
And
it.
then Brandon Miller went second.
Second. Yeah, yeah.
I thought they were going to go with Scoot, to be honest.
I thought the consensus pick was Scoot at too, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they know better than us.
Probably. Honestly, I never followed the draft that closely aside from the top three picks,
Hmm.
but um, throughout the season, that's kind of when I see the rookies shine and stand out.
Right, right.
And then Scoot went third to Portland, which honestly, I think there's it could work, but we'll see.
Okay. The thing with that is like, I love Scoot. Like Scoot, probably my favorite player in the draft, obviously, because I mean, he's just I don't know, fun personality. He reminds me of Anthony Edwards in a way.
Yeah, he
But they
does.
have pretty much four point guards on that roster. I mean, Lillard, Sharp, Simons, and now Scoot is it's gonna be tough to find minutes for all four of those guys. Like, I don't think, and the thing is, like, none of those guys, like, you can see slide to the three. Like that's the issue. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you can slide guards down to the three. Like OKC did that with the three guard lineup a few years ago, like with CP3 shooter and Shea. But
Mhm.
I don't know if Portland can do that. Like they might have to move one of those guys.
I think today I'm going to talk about how what Portland's going to need in terms of what they should target in free agency.
Yeah.
And I think their main concern is defense since they have none of that.
Well, I mean
So,
they have some good wing defenders.
so what about the paint?
The paint.
The paint's not great.
Nurkic is just
Nurkic is
enough. Like
he's not the greatest defender though.
I think as a traditional big man, he's actually great. Like he's a big body that can do that.
Mhm.
Maybe they just need like I think they need a four. Like okay, they have Grant too. Like I think maybe
I think Grant's leaving.
you think Grant's leaving. I
I
mean
think Grant's leaving.
Lillard's dream scenario is Grant and Draymond. I mean that'd be
Okay,
pretty nice.
when does Lillard ever get what he wants? So,
Dude, man, he changes what he wants like every other week. Like they can't even give him what he wants. Like one week he wants to trade, the next
yeah,
week he wants to go.
yeah. But I think one of those guys is being traded. Of
One
the
of the four
four,
guards.
I think Simons might be the one to go.
Simons or Lillard for me. Like the other two seem untouchable for me.
Yeah, Sharp and Scoot, they seem like the future in Portland, so they're
Yeah.
probably staying, in my opinion.
hmm
And then, of course, Toronto Raptors fans rejoice. We got number one, Grady Dick. Like,
Grady Dick,
I
dude.
want that jersey already.
Oh my god. Imagine repping a Dick jersey. Like, holy
I
shit,
would,
dude. That'd be
I would totally, man. I would
that's
totally.
crazy. There's gonna be so
I mean,
much Dick jerseys in the stands this year. Like, just from the name itself.
yo, it's like. the jerseys. He got big dick energy. Like that's crazy.
Oh my god! You see the
Uh,
the newspaper? It literally said big, a picture of Grady Dick, and then
Gritty
energy at the bottom.
at the bottom, yeah.
Fucking peak journalism, bro.
But excited for that. He's probably the best shooter in the entire draft, and that's desperately what Toronto needed the entire last season.
Yeah, and it's actually so apparent because we were hunting for shooters for like the last few years, like
You
Steve
know,
Luke, Matt Thomas. I mean, those are two guys we needed to get shooting from, and I don't know. Maybe if the new
although
coach
they,
will actually play them.
yeah, I know, because it's it's just great to get young talent from the draft, especially where we can develop. And
Yeah,
I don't know, there might be some superstar potential in him.
you think so? Okay,
There
okay.
might be, Scotty and Grady. Good things might be coming to Toronto sooner than you think.
Hopefully, hopefully.
All right, all right. So prior to the draft, which was last Thursday,
Mhm.
we also had a few trades that went down. And today, instead of going through not just the thoughts, I want you to grade each trade as well.
Okay.
All right. So the first trade that we want to talk about, the Celtics acquiring Kristaps and two first round picks, the Grizzlies acquiring Marcus Smart, and the Wizards acquiring Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and a second round pick.
Get the second round pick in there.
Exactly. So
Hmm.
what are you grading each team?
Well, I mean, you're asking me this on the spot, but if I have to go back and just think about how each team would improve, I would like to say that I think each team pretty much like got an okay return. Maybe not the Wizards as much
Hmm.
for what the direction should be heading to. Like maybe they should got out first. So I'll maybe grade them like a C minus for that. Because I mean, yeah, they got rid of Porzingis' contract, but he still was a good player. They could have maybe tried to get him back for one more year because I think he was on a player option. And just see what goes on after that. But then them letting him go, maybe they just wanted cap space with this new CBA. Like it's understandable. They just want to have as much space as possible to not end up in the second apron or whatever. The Celtics and the Grizzlies both, maybe they just needed a change of scenery. I think that's might have been just what it is. Like they just want to bring in new talent. Maybe the Grizzlies felt like their roster wasn't going anywhere with this, all the distractions going on. They just want to bring in someone that can maybe ground some of these guys like Jaw and I guess just Jaw on that team to be honest. And Marcus Smart definitely provides some gritty defensive abilities, like just what Dylan Brooks was doing for them. I mean, Marcus Smart probably fill that role exactly the same, taking bad shots as well. I mean, why not bring him in? And the Celtics, yeah, I give Memphis probably a B for that. I mean, they did give up two picks, I think, but I mean, getting Smart, like he's a really good player and he has performed in the playoffs time after time, so of course bring him in. Celtics, I'll give them probably a B plus. Like Porzingis is a big addition. Like maybe you might say the fit maybe like not the greatest, but talent is talent. Like if you can get talent in your roster and not give up too much, then you should do that. And for them to get Kristaps along with two first round picks that might just end up being like shitty picks, but still, it's great. I mean, they gave up talent to get more talent and assets on top of that.
Agreed, agreed. I think I was a little more generous with my grading. It's just because I'm just looking at playoff success as well in terms of what they needed, what they lacked, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, the Celtics, that was the probably the headline team in this
Yeah,
entire deal. Acquiring Kristaps, now you can kind of shift Al Horford to the bench where he can be a spark off there and just have Rob Williams and Kristaps run the floor as the starters. And they fleeced the teams getting two first round picks. They got the best player in this entire trade
yeah, right.
and two first round picks. Like Brad
Those picks
Stevens,
probably should have gone to the Wizards, like if we're realistically speaking.
probably it was probably some miscommunication,
Yeah, finessing from Brad Stevens. I'm not
Exactly,
surprised.
yeah. Well, that's what the Celtics organization has been doing since
True, finessing their point
since
guards all the
time.
time, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But I think in my opinion, in A, now you got another phenomenal floor spacer in Chris Dabbs. He's 7'3", right? And like they got two first round picks. Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that was a bad deal. They just got
Yeah.
better in my opinion.
Hmm.
Sure, you lose some defensive impact on in the guards with Marcus Smart's departure, but they still have Derek White. You still have, although
Yeah.
he's not the greatest defender, but he still has some defensive impact. You still have Jalen Brown who plays it too. Who honestly, he's a pretty solid wing defender as well. And then coming off the bench, you don't lose any scoring at all. Malcolm Brogdon's still on the team. Jason Tatum's still doing his thing. Like I don't see anything wrong with this trade. So an A grade for me.
Yeah.
Grizzlies needed that. Grizzlies needed that veteran, that veteran leadership in that locker room and everything. So bringing in a guy who's been to the finals, defensive player of the year player, and just a guy who's been in the league for almost 10 years now. Like Marcus Smart, I think he's such a great addition, and he fits that the hustle mentality, the grit and grind mentality. I think that's what Marcus Smart. If Marcus Smart was was earlier, came earlier in the league, he definitely would have been part of the Mike Conley, Tony
Oh
Allen
yeah.
type of culture.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just bad timing, but at least he's there now, and he can definitely be a positive impact towards a top seeded team in the league. And the
Yeah.
Wizards, I think, oh, sorry, Grizzlies, I gave them an A as well. I think that's what they needed, although they did give up the first round picks. But
Yeah.
you're in win now mode. That's that's the point of it. And Wizards, give them a B. They kind of just got everyone's junk, but I say stock up on whatever assets you can. You get Mike Muscala, who's a great backup center. He's severely underrated.
Yeah. Great shooter.
Danilo Gallinari, although he was injured last year, who knows? Maybe he can still pop up. Remember his Denver game, Denver and Clippers days, and
Ah.
OKC actually. Yeah, he was actually really solid. I forgot New York too.
Especially
And
OKC, like that's where he kind of made his value.
yeah, exactly. And he can definitely still provide that, and maybe flip him for like a first round pick or two at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And then Tyus Jones, such an underrated point guard. When Ja went out, he stepped up.
Yeah. I
So
think I'm definitely underrating the Wizards here on their
yeah,
return.
but definitely still they should have gotten I think at least a first round pick, especially for Kristaps.
Yeah.
And not that they messed up or anything, but I think the Wizards did a B plus for me, just because of the talent they received does not match up to Kristaps or Smart.
Fair
But
enough.
still a good trade by them, I think.
Yeah, I guess C-Max is a bit too harsh. I mean, I've always talked about Tash Jones being one of my favorite point, not my favorite point guards, but like one of the most underrated point guards that I always like to bring up on like who are the best underrated players in the league. I mean, I kept saying this like on like 20 out of 30 teams, maybe even more. Like he would be a starting point guard. Like he's
Hmm.
that caliber of player. Like you seen when Ja went out, he did step up and he was that guy. Great floater game, great pick and roll game, great defender. He's a bit undersized, but I mean, come on, like for what for what he is, he produces so much. And yeah, I think the Wizards they're probably heading towards a rebuild. I mean, it looks like they're probably not going to retain Kuzma. Beal's gone. It is going to be a rebuild, and like I think someone like Tyus Jones is probably the perfect point guard to pair up
Yeah,
with like
that's
all
what I'm
these young
thinking too.
guys. Like you have Kispert, Avdia, and I mean, is Johnny Davis going to get minutes? I don't know. He's probably, but I still like him. I mean, he had a nice finish. A few. I mean, a game. I don't know where it was. One game last season. He had a really good finish.
Yeah, he did.
So
He did.
to have a point guard that can set the floor so well, I think that's important. So maybe the Wizards are going towards kind of a healthy rebuild, opposed to the Rockets who've just kind of thrown junk on the floor. So yeah, maybe I'm underrating the Wizards' return actually.
I think no, I think it's fair to underrate them since no one really watches Wizards, at least from what I
True.
think.
I just watched Kuzma. That's all I watch.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. But then again, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
But definitely one of the more, I guess, fair trades we've seen
I'd say so. Of all the
for a
trades
13
that,
trade. Yeah.
yeah, one of the more fair trades that have come across the last few seasons.
Hmm.
Speaking of Wizards and Bradley Beal, Suns acquired Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd. The Wizards acquired Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and number 7 pick, as well as a shit ton of second round picks and first round pick swaps. I'm not going to name them all. And the Pacers, who just kind of snuck in, acquired the number 8 pick and a few second round picks.
So what are your thoughts? Let's start with you.
My thoughts. I think I think a lot of people can agree with me on this one. Um, no team got an A in this one. No team got an A. The Suns get a B, and that's flat B for me.
Mm.
They did acquire Goodwin and Todd, although not the most impactful role players. They still give Phoenix some depth in terms of their already thin bench. And then you have Bradley Beal, who, while is a great player from his All-Star and Washington days, I don't know if he's what the Suns need.
Hmm. Why do you think so?
Well, first, right off the bat for me, uh, the Suns needed bench depth, like solid role players that can you can surround with the starters or coming off the bench and give high minutes when KD and Book rest. But they acquire another guy who's been injured the last season, um, who has only made three All-Star teams, which is like the same number as
Wow.
Devin
Don't bring up
Booker.
the All Star teams, Ryan. Don't
I don't
bring
know,
up the All
man.
Star
I don't know.
teams.
I think All-Star teams is a it's a big indication of what you're getting, because that overvalues or undervalues what type of player you are.
I guess yeah, in that case. But
And
he's been like a superstar his career. Like we can't 30 point per game scorer. Like yeah, he's on a shitty team, but like we all know that if Beal was on another team, he would still be great. You know, it's not like he's just like a good stats bad team kind of guy.
well, ever since John Wall left, he kind of has been.
You think so? I mean, he's
I
been a good stats bad guy, bad team, but like even when they were in the playoffs, like he played good, and we
okay
see
when
like
they were
his
yeah
game could translate to the playoffs. Like he's a
yes
good player. Come on, like he's not like one of those all stars, you know, like an all
he's
star.
he's not a he's a great player. Don't get me wrong on this, but I don't think what Phoenix needed was the bench depth and some defense, and he's not that. He's
Mm.
just not that. So the Suns gonna be since they look even more dangerous on paper, but I don't think that's what they needed initially. Wizards acquired Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a butt ton of
A lot
picks.
of picks,
A,
yeah.
a lot of picks. This is more than we saw this past trade deadline.
Mm.
But they didn't really have a choice because Bradley Beal had to say where he wanted to go with the no trade clause.
Yeah,
So Miami could have thrown like five different first round picks. Milwaukee could have been like, oh, we'll give you a solid bench player like Bobby Portis and other players. But no, this guy said, I want to play with KD. So there you go. And they can only
I don't
throw
blame him.
second round picks, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying though. But I don't think they came out the worst, considering they did flip Chris Paul later on.
Mm.
I'm gonna give them a B minus because right now you only pretty much have Landry Shamet and second round picks. Like he's not bad by any means, but it doesn't excite me.
I mean, who does he excite? Landry Shamet?
Landry Shamet on the Wizards, like that just sounds like it was bound to happen regardless in his
That's like
career.
Corey Joseph on the Pistons. Like it's like
Yeah,
okay, like just
okay,
one of
yeah.
those, yeah,
It's one of those ones. It's
yeah.
nothing. It's not like I woke up in the morning, but like, yo, Landry
Landry
Shamet
Shamet?
to
Oh
the Wizard. No,
no.
that's not happening. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah,
So I think B minus is fair, considering they did get a lot of draft picks in this one, although second round picks. But who knows? You can always flip them.
yeah,
And then Pacers, give them a B. They kind of just snuck in, said,
yeah.
"Yo, we want in," and then they got number 8. So
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, they just snuck
that's what
in.
I'm saying, right? So I give them a B. Just because they have the same grade as the Suns, which is crazy to me. But
Yeah,
I think uh, if you're a team who had no business being there and you still got something out of it, good on you.
yeah. That should be like a. I'll start by giving them a B plus, like just to come in and swoop in and get some. Yeah, like for definitely B plus. But like this is really just the not Pistons, the Wizards and the Suns. Like this is their trade.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I actually thought that both of these teams they kind of got what they really wanted. Like Beal wanted out. Wizards didn't have as much choices as they would have. Obviously, I kind of felt like it was just Miami or Phoenix here, and Miami was not giving them shit because they wanted Lillard. So for them to get back all these picks, along with Chris Paul, who they did end up flipping, but I can't really put that into their grade. And they got a couple. I think there was 4 pick swaps. They got 4 pick swaps for that. Which yeah, they're probably gonna be shit picks. I mean, unless the Suns just kind of fall off. But for the position they were in, like I gotta give them like an A minus for them to get back that
Okay.
much things. I think getting back Chris Paul was actually pretty impressive. just in its own, like not even just giving him like from trading him for Jordan Poole, like just for them to get back Chris Paul along with all those picks. I was expecting just some garbage. Like I mean, seriously, I mean the contracts they had to match it, but Chris Paul's still a decent player. I feel
He
like he had
is.
a
He is.
tough playoffs. He was injured. 4 pick swaps is impressive to get, so I give them an A minus. And with Phoenix, I mean, I just think that they're in this position where they really had two avenues to go. Like you said, they could have gone depth. You know, try to get some guys that can help them on the back end. You know, get Booker and Durant some guys that can just support their game. Or they could have gone all in with the stars, like all in. I think you know what, like Phoenix, Matt Ishbia, like that's probably what he wanted, and I don't know. We haven't seen this formula work where you just get like 3 big stars and only have these guys and try to win. Like the Harden, KD, Kyrie thing broke off, and that's probably the only one that we've really seen
That's the
recently.
only recent one, yeah. Everything else has been like 2010. But then like it has worked. You can see Boston in 2008 with KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. Like that kind of worked. They won
It
a
did
chip in
work,
that one, yeah. But
but yeah,
I think
it
it's tougher in this day and age.
especially with like bench players being so important. Like I pride myself on like energy guys off the bench. I love those kind of players, and I think they win you games that you probably like games that you might have lost. Like they'll win you some of those games. But here's the thing, though. I think a few years ago, I think that would really be an issue. But in today's NBA, it seems that you can find a lot of gems in the free agency pool, like for these contracts that you just like, what's it called? Like the it's not the veterans minimum.
It is the vet minimum, no? Or the mid
Is
level?
it? Yeah, the mid level exception. Like you can find some.
Biannual stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like you can find decent players there, and I think some players would want to take a pay cut to play on this team. So I think that Phoenix is not fully shot like for their bench. Like, I think they can still find some guys like especially for next year like second round picks. Those might be the most valuable thing going forward, just because you can sign them to such a cheap contract
Mhm.
that even if you have a lot of guys that are super expensive, you can still fill out the roster. And we've seen that some of these guys from the draft can contribute just from this season. Christian Braun.
Mm.
So I got to give them probably an A minus as well. I think both teams kind of came out pretty decent in this trade.
Okay, and Pacers?
I said it. At the start. I said B plus. I mean, they just came in
Oh,
and just
Pacers, my
they
bad, my
just
fault.
swooped. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I think this was also a pretty decent trade for both guys. Even though it may seem like super crazy, I think for what their reasoning was, like, I think they came out on top.
Yeah, I think I just looked at it from like what they needed point, but not necessarily like the star power point.
You never
But
know. Like bringing a star, it doesn't hurt. You know, like just see
you
how
never,
it goes.
yeah.
It may be super shit, but who knows? Like 3 stars on one team, especially like how complimentary they can be to each other. Like I think it'll work. I think
Hmm.
so.
Fair, fair. Don't agree with your grades, but I can see
Yeah.
the reasoning.
For what they're trying to do and for what their vision is, I think
All right.
A minus is right thing. I don't know, just for me.
Uh, Going off of Chris Paul, the Warriors
Mm.
acquired him, and I remember what you said in the group chat when I sent that, where he's about to become a retirement home.
They're so old.
And the Wizards acquire Jordan Poole,
Mm.
Patrick Baldwin, Ryan
My boy.
Rollins, and first and the second round pick.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think I
yeah.
think this was a very interesting trade.
It was, and the reasoning
Yeah.
is different for both teams. Like you might look at the Warriors and say, "What are they doing? They're giving him Jordan Poole, all this and that," or like, "Oh, he's so shit." Like, glad they got rid of him. But I feel like a lot of people were like, "Wow, you traded this 38-year-old for Jordan Poole, like a young player
Yeah.
maybe it's not the greatest contract, but like a young player that has proven that he's played good in the past." Some people are surprised, and honestly, I'm on the Warriors here. Like, I'm on the Warriors side here. I think you kind of had to get rid of Jordan Poole's contract. Like for Steph and Draymond and Clay to be on this team, like you can't have this other guy that's making so much money. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be like actually
You're
destroyed.
drowning. You'll be
Yeah,
drowning in the water with that.
exactly. You'll have no ability to trade. Like especially if Jordan Poole keeps declining, which I don't think he is. He's gonna bounce back. But for them to get back someone like Chris Paul, who I think has 1 more year
1 year
left on
deal
his
contract.
contract,
Yep. That's
it's like it's just here to save the money. And yeah, I think giving up the pick kind of sucks. And I really like Patrick Baldwin Jr. Like I think he does have a place in this league,
hmm
so I'm happy to see him probably get minutes in the Wizards. But for what the Warriors have to do, it sucks. I mean, for just having the dump salary, probably a B. Like they had to just dump salary somewhere. And for the Wizards, I think it's probably a B plus. Like I think they need a young talent. Like why not take a shot at Jordan Poole? Like you already have like no money on your books anyways. Why not just bring in someone who maybe can score a lot, like be another Bradley Beal, like that crazy is. They just traded Bradley Beal for Bradley Beal.
or another one. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think both teams kind of came out pretty well. I mean, I'll probably give the Wizards an A minus as well.
I gave the Warriors a B. Considering what they had to dump for Chris Paul, like you gave up young talent, uh, two role players and some draft picks. I think it's a fair deal, but Chris Paul is probably going to be coming off your bench, and he that's kind of a package I would want to send for maybe a starter type player or someone who would be starting alongside my guys, right?
Yeah, probably.
So, but then again, if you look at it further, Chris Paul 1 year on his deal, so that comes off the books. Uh, Great veteran leadership. Although he's not the same player he once was, he can provide so much for Steph Curry's play style.
Yeah,
Because we forget that Steph is a better off-ball player. Although he is the point guard, he's a much better off-ball player. This guy's going to be running marathons, and Chris Paul is going to be the one passing the dimes to him. So I think in terms of like fit, I think it's a great one. And let's say if it doesn't work out, like we saw with D'Angelo Russell a few years ago, and but he does play well. We're just going to flip him at the trade deadline as well, maybe to
yeah,
another
maybe.
contender. Yeah. So assuming it works, I think this team can go deep in the playoffs. And assuming it doesn't, another contender is just going to take a shot at Chris Paul.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, then he's just off the books. Like the
Exactly.
Warriors does seem like they come out on top in every scenario.
Yeah. So I still give him a B just considering the package they had to give up.
Mm.
But I think it was a solid move. I know a lot of people didn't like it. And a few people that I talked to at work were like, shit trade. But
Yeah,
for what the Warriors were able to acquire in Chris Paul, at least what's left of him, um,
yeah.
I think I think great deal.
Hmm.
And he brings that veteran leadership and playoff experience that maybe, although the Warriors don't need a whole lot, he could serve as another like inspiration for the young guys they bring in.
Yeah, and they need to switch up the locker room. Like the locker room was very toxic with the whole Jordan Poole, Draymond Green
Yeah.
thing. Seems like they were on the same page. Like Chris Paul,
Well,
someone, yeah.
Chris Paul never had a great relationship with Draymond to begin with, but
I mean, I think it'll be better than Jordan Poole. Like I don't think he's gonna punch him in the face. You know, like they're both like kind of understanding people. I feel like.
they're both A class veterans, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the Wizards, I got to give them an A. You bring you're already a tanking team. You have no talent. You have no excitement on that team anymore. So you bring in Jordan Poole, who
Landry Shamet. I mean, come
forgot,
on.
man,
We just talked about him,
forgot.
dude.
You bring in Jordan Poole. You bring in some role players and some draft picks. I respect that, especially for Chris Paul at what 37, 38 years old.
Yeah, like 38. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hefty package for Chris Paul. So bringing Jordan Poole, who's easily going to become your number one option. Who knows, 21, 22 points a game now. Like I was really high on Jordan Poole despite him having a down year this year. I
Yeah.
was telling a lot of people he's going to have a bounce back year,
Easily.
regardless if he was on the Warriors or not. And a lot of people were just saying, nah. But I think in Washington, there will be no lights on him. There will be no like attention to winning as much or playoff success. So he can just continue to develop and just let his game do the talking there.
Right. And you said
Yeah.
21, 22 points per game. Like I could see him challenging for like 26. Like he's gonna be
Oh
chucking
damn.
on that team. Like he's gonna be chucking. I feel like. But yeah, I
For sure.
think it's definitely a better scenario for him. Like I feel like he's the kind of guy that did want the ball in his hands a lot more. Like we seen when Curry went
He
out.
kind of
Like
needs
he
the ball.
was
He needs the ball in his
he does
hands.
need the ball, yeah. But I feel like he also wants the ball. Like he's not someone that just needs it. He wants it. So he's gonna have his wishes fulfilled in Washington.
For sure. For sure. All right. Moving on. Mavericks acquired Rashawn Holmes and a first round pick. The Kings acquired to be determined. So we don't know what they're getting yet.
Okay.
But speaking from the Mavericks side, I think they got an A.
Really?
Yeah, I think they get an A. Considering that prior to Domantas Sabonis coming onto the Kings, they had Holmes running the starting center spot, and he was a great fit.
He was a dog that year.
He
Yeah.
was such a great fantasy pickup. Like it was I think when Sabonis came in, he kind of got delegated to the bench, and he was just never the same since. But when Sabonis didn't play or struggled a bit, and Rashawn Holmes got the minutes, he stepped up, and he could still play starter stuff. He could still do what he did years
Mm.
prior. So with the Mavericks acquiring him and them probably not getting back Christian Wood, I think this was a great deal by them to reamp the front court and have a good solid defensive presence there. So I'm
Solid
giving
defensive presence in
well
Holmes.
well better than what they had
A shot
in
blocking
Wood.
presence. Shot blocking
Yes,
presence.
yes, yes. Not the Rudy Gobert type, but you know,
Yeah.
I'd say I give the Mavs an A. I give the Mavs an A. And the Kings to acquire to be determined, I'm giving them a B
I
because
mean,
we
A
don't know
plus,
what it
dude.
A plus for sure, for
Never
sure.
seen that guy before, but I hope he's good.
Hopefully. Your thoughts?
I think the Mavericks. I think yeah, picking up someone like Rashawn Holmes, who has proven in the past that he can be a big energy guy, a big rebounder. But only issue is that you have Dwight Powell in that spot already.
He's actually a free agent.
He's a free agent. I think he's restricted though, and
Unrestricted.
he's unrestricted.
Unrestricted.
But I feel like the Mavericks will try their hardest to get something like that
They
back. I
probably
mean,
will.
they have built that culture with him. Doncic seems like him and Doncic do have this kind of 1-2 punch going as a lob threat. And I don't know, with the fit between those two, it would be kind of iffy, but talent is talent. And we've seen in the past that Rashawn Holmes can be a great rebounder. Maybe Dwight Powell could even slide onto the floor. I mean, he does, I feel like, have better feet than Rashawn Holmes. But yeah, I think probably a B just because the fit. Maybe I'm a bit iffy, and they're probably gonna have to target someone else in free agency as well, the Mavericks, just because this like Dwight Powell, Rashawn Holmes front court probably not gonna work. But and also you have Maxi Kleber on the team too,
Yep.
who's probably gonna be your starter. So we'll see where Rashawn Holmes plays. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but probably just a B for me.
For B. Okay. Okay. But they did get a first round pick in Olivier Maxence Prost. I don't know.
Oh, you
But
don't know that guy? Oh, that's my
yeah, I don't know that
favorite
guy.
prospect. Yeah,
Oh, damn. My bad.
it's okay. I mean, for
Yeah.
yeah, first round pick does help. Yeah.
Yeah. I still think it's a good deal considering we don't even know what the Kings got yet. But if
Yeah.
they give up like Luca, then it's a automatically F.
Give up Luca, yo, for Rashawn Holmes. Rate it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
And the last trade that I want to grade, the Jazz acquiring John Collins and the
Mm,
Hawks receiving Rudy Gay and a future second round pick. Thoughts?
man, I think John Collins' value has fallen so much. I remember just like 2 years ago, like big 20-10 guy, young player, like people were talk. I think I heard rumblings about him and like Jalen Brown having a swap, like a swap for them two a few years back.
Mhm. There was.
And, and I think Atlanta just kind of gave up on him. I think it really was between. It felt like it was Capella or Collins, and they went with Capella, and Collins' value just died so much. I mean,
And
yeah, and it's not for like just like no reason. I mean, he kind of forgot how to shoot the ball. His fit was horrendous on the team. It seems like they had locker room issues, and he was the one that had to go. For them to get back Rudy Gay in a second round pick, though, I think they could have. I mean, I'm surprised that no team gave up a first. I mean, I'm really
mm,
surprised. I have to give Atlanta probably like a C minus or a D. I
I give
mean,
him a C. I give him a C.
seriously, they couldn't get anything better for John Collins. No other young team would want him. Maybe even Houston could give him something like one of those young players that they have.
Hmm.
And for the Jazz, I mean, come on, like they get another young player. I think okay. Here's the thing, I give them a B minus. The thing is, I like John Collins as a player. I think he's a great player, but that's a lot of cap space you're kind of devoting to him. They only
Yeah.
have, I think something near $20 million left compared to how much they had before. Like they probably could have got someone a bit better, or someone that could maybe they can, or a bunch of different guys that they could get, like maybe 3 4 guys with that money. John Collins is someone that we have seen fall in the past. Maybe they're betting on him to go back to what he was maybe in 2020, but yeah, I don't know. Giving him that much money for John Collins, yeah, he's talent, but you probably could have got a lot more with that cap space.
I definitely think a better team would have been a better fit. But at the end of the day, Atlanta just wanted to move him
Mm.
and clear space for, I think, DeJounte Murray's upcoming extension. And if you're committing what $20+ million a year to this guy who's averaging like 12 points a game, it's not worth it.
Mm.
So the Jazz acquiring John Collins is actually great for him as a player because although it might not be a perfect fit right now, you can still slide Markin into the three. You can have John Collins play yo. He did that in
he,
Cleveland.
he did, but I mean, defensively, he's gonna get cooked by these threes.
He's going to get cooked for sure. But are the Jazz even competing right now? No,
I mean, they were early in the
barely,
season.
and
What do you
barely.
mean, bro? They're like first for like fucking 2 months.
First
It
for
felt
like
like
2 weeks, and then just like it's. But
not the three
Kessler's still going to play the five, and then
for
you put
sure.
John Collins at the four, and then I think maybe Colin Sexton and John Collins could develop something there as well.
I thought they were looking to move Colin Sexton actually.
Are they actually?
Yeah, that's why I was hearing rumblings about that.
Oh damn, I did not hear anything about
If
that
that's the
yet.
case, then I mean, if he stays, then yeah, they could develop some chemistry for sure, though.
Yeah. Okay. But regardless, I think the Hawks moving on from John Collins and acquiring Rudy Gay, the guy who doesn't really play anymore,
No,
and
he doesn't play.
I think the second round pick's more valuable than Rudy Gay
Yeah,
at this point.
which is kind
So
of funny, but
I'm giving him a C plus. Like, sorry, Raptors legend, but Rudy Gay, he's probably going to get waived, or he's just going to be sitting the end of the bench now.
yeah,
In terms of John Collins, I think he's young, still got a lot left in the tank. So I'm gonna give them a B, like a flat B,
mm,
and we'll see how it goes for Utah. But John Collins can definitely be. He fits their timeline, so he could probably still be a piece moving forward. But I don't know
yeah,
what the fit is exactly yet. But
and he's just yeah,
it's good for him to get out of Atlanta. You know,
it is.
and
But also, here's another question: it's like, what is John Collins' ideal fit? Because in today's NBA, like a player his size and a player with his skills probably needs to play the five, but he just
yeah,
has not been able to defend the five. Like he's just too. I don't know what it is. Like he just has no fit. It seems like.
some players just need to work on that in the off
Yeah,
season.
maybe he just doesn't work hard enough. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is.
I think for John Collins to succeed, the five is the most ideal fit.
Yeah.
And the only issue, I think the five is actually a very talented position nowadays in the league, considering you have so much elite centers that can like do a lot of things. So if he is able to step up, play the four really well, and get moved somewhere that would love his skill set, his talents, I think he could be a top 15 center ish in the league, but I don't know yet.
It's tough because like a lot of these young teams that are tanking already have good centers. I
Like
mean,
you're looking at
Şengün, Duran on the Pistons,
you
and
got
you have Kessler on the Jazz.
Orlando. They have name again.
Wendell,
You know, no
he's a
Carter.
young guy. He's like
Well, he's
27.
well young-ish.
He's
He's
still talented. He can put up stats. Like he's
exactly like these guys. These teams already have pretty much an established young center. I
yeah.
don't think they really need someone yet, but who knows? Maybe a team like I don't know San Antonio gonna
Yeah,
need.
maybe they might need a center, man. I
He
don't
might
know.
need a center. I don't know
Maybe.
about Wemby yet. I don't know. I don't know
Not
what
gonna
he.
lie.
I don't.
He'll be the center. He'll be the center. He
He
has to be.
definitely. Yeah, he has to be. But maybe if they need some veteran leadership.
It sucks. I mean, John Collins, one of my favorite players. Like back in 2020, I love this guy.
I
He's
mean,
I
look
mean,
at our
yeah.
Court of Kings thing, right?
I think yeah, it's like some trivia. Like he actually used the logo. He's like the silhouette on the logo. He's catching an alley oop, and that was in the was it the Rising Stars game?
It
I think
was
it was Rising
or
Stars.
Rising Stars or Dunk Contest. I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah, he's wearing a black blue jersey or something. But yeah, he's the logo. I mean, I loved him. I thought him in Atlanta, him playing the five with Trey Young, their 1-2 punch was so exciting, bro. I love John Collins, and now to see him like
Just
almost have no
plummet.
role, like he might just end up being like a 25 minutes per guy off the bench. Like it doesn't seem like he's a starting caliber of guy just the way he is right now. Hopefully he develops, but man, it sucks to see him get traded
I
for a
think
second round
Utah is the
pick.
best place for him to develop. To develop
Yeah,
though.
probably, and they have a great coach over there. So yeah,
They do. They do. So we will see.
we will see.
Free agents. This is my favorite time of the year, and I'm sure it is for a lot of other people, considering all the drama that goes down, all the trades and signings that go down.
Mhm.
I want to start with the players that we think will stay on their respective teams right now. Because although players are opting out, other players are restricted, and some players just like, we'll see how it goes, maybe just to get some few extra bucks in.
Hmm.
I think there's a list of a few players that are bound to stay regardless because of situation and just money wise. You want to start this off, or do you want me to give an example?
I think you should give an example because
All right. I think number one, Chris Middleton. I think he's staying with the Bucks. Although he did
okay.
opt out of his 40 mil. Um, he's probably opting out so he can sign a long-term deal instead of just risking it all for one last like big
Yeah.
fat paycheck. I think he wants to finish his career up in Milwaukee, get maybe a 4-year deal, maybe a nice 100 million to go with that,
Mm.
or 3-year 100 million, something like that, instead of getting 140 mil all at once and maybe just not playing up to standard.
Right.
But he's an established star next to Giannis, so I think he's staying with the Bucks.
Yeah, he has a role there for sure.
Yeah.
For me, the one guy I think is probably gonna stay is Kyrie Irving. I think,
Oh,
yeah, I think
okay.
so because it seems like early in free agency, it seemed like he did want to leave, but it seems like there really isn't a market for Kyrie that would kind of fit what he wants along with the money that he wants. Like I
Yeah.
feel a lot of teams could give up maybe less than the max or something closer to max, but like not enough to where like it'll beat out the Dallas Mavericks contract. I mean, he's gonna get near $200 million, like the most that they could give him. He's gonna have a starting role alongside Luka, who's a young star. He has a great fit here. I mean, I think he probably just has to sign that contract. I mean, money wise, it just makes the most sense, and he probably has a lot of freedom in Dallas just because from when they traded for him, like he chose to come here and like they promised him a lot of things. So I'm guessing his best fit probably is Dallas.
Now here's my thing about Kyrie. I never know what he's thinking. I feel like he's the type to be like, fuck it, and then sign a mid-level exception in LA.
Nah, come on, he's not Kanye, bro. He's not that
I feel
unpredictable.
like he's the type to though, because I don't know what he's thinking half the time.
I
So
think the one thing with Kyrie is that I think money is like he goes where the money goes. I feel like.
I think that goes for most players, but then again, you don't know what's going on up there sometimes. So
Yeah, you know. I mean, but
you know,
players these days, I mean, if anything,
money is yeah,
they'll sign that
generational wealth.
contract and then they'll ask for the trade.
Bradley Beal, for example.
Yeah, Bradley Beal. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I just think that considering they did not have any playoff success at all, like they didn't even make the play in tournament. I
Yeah,
think there's a chance that he doesn't want to stay in Dallas.
yeah. There is that side of it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for him wanting to be a winner, but it's just the money, man. Like the money dogs.
The money speaks. Next one on my list, James Harden, 76ers. I think he's staying.
Wow, that one's more surprising than Kyrie, in my opinion.
If he goes to Houston, what type of locker room influence is going to be there?
I mean, just
And
like they go to strip clubs every night, man. Like
oh
him
my
and
God, that
Udoka. Holy shit.
not a great fit. Not a great fit. And I think if he really does want to win, he's nearing the end of his prime. He probably is out of his prime already. But if James Harden still wants a good chance at a championship, stick with Philly, stick with Embiid. I
Mm,
think he will give you the best chance at it. And considering what I have in terms of what the 76ers will be acquiring this free agency, there might be a chance they have a good shot.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair enough. I mean, I thought just going to Houston, like it's not even just a fit for him. Like it's just where he wants to be. You know, that's where his heart is. Like he's been there for so long. He has such a great relationship with the ownership there. Maybe I mean, who knows? He could be kind of like the mentor to some of those young girls. I mean, they have a lot of young girls on their team that could end up being really talented players like KPJ. Now they have Amon Thompson, Jalen Green. Like these are three guys that I mean, having Harden as their leader, and we've seen like people like to clown on Harden for being kind of like a goofy guy, but when it comes down to being a leader, we've seen him in the offseason. He's a great leader. Like
yeah, he is.
he loves to help the young guys out. We've seen him with Scotty Barnes in the past. Like
Yeah.
he's a great like a great leader. So I mean, why not like bring him in, help him mentor those young guys? He can still be the number one guy, but just lead by example.
So
But
is he coming off the bench or is he starting in Houston?
he's leading by example. He's starting for sure.
Starting for sure. Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I can see the other side too. Like Philly, I mean, it is safe. Like he is still a contender there. Him and Embiid have this chemistry built already. Maybe run it back for one more year. Why not? But I
And
think,
new head coach. Like who
yeah,
knows?
I think
The
maybe
whole thing
Doc might
might
have been the issue. Yeah.
yeah, it might have been Doc all along, right? So I think I think he should stick with Philly. Maybe sign a 1, 2 year deal type of thing. Get more
Okay,
flexibility there.
I guess
Get
yeah,
as much money from there, like maybe 50 million a year, because that's what he's probably gonna want.
yeah.
And then if it doesn't work out in 2 years, then leave for Houston.
That's actually fair enough. I actually
Yeah,
like that idea much
because
better than mine.
LeBron's been doing that for years, and KD with the
Dang.
Warriors too. So I think
True.
Harden might want to do that with 76ers too.
Mm, okay.
Yours?
For me, I mean, the obvious one, Jalen Brown. He's restricted, but I mean, he's probably he really. It seemed like he really wanted to go, and in my opinion, if he didn't make All NBA, he was gone. But now that he make All NBA, he's probably has to resign. I mean, that contract is way too big. What do you think?
Jalen Brown is definitely an interesting one, considering he's not a free agent yet. He just
Mm,
eligible for the extension. But
right.
if they don't sign him to the Supermax, he's gone. He's gone,
Yeah,
gone.
that's the only thing
Because
that's kind of keeping him with Boston.
yeah, because like we said earlier, the money speaks, and Jalen Brown doesn't want to be confined to be like, oh, Tatum's little brother or something, although he is older. But uh, he wants to be treated with respect, and he's made an All NBA team, signifying he's one of the best players in the league. And I know that. I love Jalen Brown,
Mm,
but if he doesn't get that offer, if he doesn't get to sign that extension, he is gone. He is leaving Boston. I don't know where yet. I think Houston might be an interesting fit,
yeah,
but a lot of people have been saying that. I would just love to see him come to Toronto, but that's probably not happening.
I wish, man, I wish. But yeah, it seems like there was the relationship between him and the front office and the players there. Like it seems shot, even though like
Very rocky.
yeah, I mean he seems like he hates the fans. Like that's probably the worst thing you could want from your players, and they hate the fans. But yeah, if the Supermax is there, he's definitely gonna sign it. If not, he's gone for sure.
Yeah. My next one, I think Draymond's staying with the Warriors.
Yeah, yeah, for
It's
sure.
all talk, no bite. He just wants to milk the last out of the Warriors' pockets, just to milk
Yeah.
whatever's got left. And then once that is over with, he can just be like, I'm out. So
Mm,
I think Draymond's staying. And plus, he has an established role there. And that chemistry you have with Clay and Steph, where else are you going to build that in the next 3 years for him? Like, that's your
yeah.
window. That's your final time of contention. If you go
Mm,
with LeBron, you're gonna need a build, you're gonna need time, and then who knows, maybe all that like glazing him throughout the last few years is not gonna work out when he's your teammate. So
yeah.
I don't think going to to the Lakers is ideal. I think sticking with Golden State and trying to chase one more ring with Chris Paul now too,
Hmm.
and maybe Iguodala comes back. Who knows?
Oh,
But Draymond Green sticking with Warriors.
yeah. And that was actually the last name on my list too. I had Draymond as well. I think that yeah. I mean, his role on other teams, like he's so old at this point where if he does go on another team, like you don't know if he'll have the same impact.
Yeah,
And I think he's one of those guys that you always wonder, like him and Clay both, like you wonder, like if he's on a different team, like what would their fit be like? How would their play style change? Because it's been so different with the Warriors. But and yeah, just sign a 3 year deal, try to end your contract with Curry, and maybe that'll be their last dance. You know, after
yeah.
those 3 years, it might be their last dance.
Maybe afterwards go where you want to go, like
Yeah,
pull
go to
Tony
China.
Parker. Pull Tony Parker.
But yeah, the 1 year in Charlotte just
Yeah,
fucking ruined it,
that
dude.
was the weirdest thing I've ever
I
seen,
don't know
bro.
why he did that, dude. He could have ended it with the Spurs, but
Wanted to play with Batum,
yeah, he went
the
to play
French,
Batum. That's what
the
he
French
said.
man,
He
bro.
was like, that was my dream this whole time, not to win championships, but to play with Batum.
No, I wanted to play with Nicolas Batum.
Oh my god, dude. He was overpaid too. That
I know,
fucking
for real.
Batum. Oh my god, that
I have
2016
a
year.
few more, but these are more just like low key ones. I think
Okay,
Jakob Poeltl's staying with the Raptors. They didn't trade him just for half a season. They're gonna keep him maybe 15 to 20 mil plus a year,
he's
right?
probably the starting center for the future. Yeah.
For probably, and he's still relatively young, just entering his prime, and maybe who knows, he'll develop a 3 point shot.
Whew, I wish.
Cam Johnson staying with the Nets, restricted free agency. They have no one, so he's bound to stay for sure. PJ Washington staying with the Hornets. I don't see him going anywhere else. Restricted as well. Herb Jones sticking with the Pelicans.
Makes sense. Yeah.
He is such a great young guy for them, and there's no reason for him to move elsewhere. And Kenyon Martin, I think he's still restricted, I think the Houston Rockets would be stupid to let him go. So that's what I got.
I think just think with Cameron, like it just seems like there might be some fit issues. I mean, with them having Jabari Smith there,
Yeah,
his role has greatly decreased. Like he's seen a lot less minutes than he has in the past.
definitely is a decrease. Yeah, but again, you sign him and then flip him later. Like
Nah, yeah, that's your thing actually. Yeah, you're right, man. Just flip him later, bro.
flip him later. That's always been my thing. But yeah, those are some guys I think will be staying with their team,
Mm.
and looking forward to not hearing any changes from them because I don't like change like that.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But what I do like is change among the next list of players we will announce here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start this one off.
Okay. I mean, what position you want to start off with, though?
All right, so I did mine a little differently considering the whole situation we had. But let's start with the point guard. Let's start with the point guard because I think this position is desperately needed throughout the league,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see why in a few seconds.
Right. And for me, actually, I was looking through the list. I thought this might have been the least deep of all the positions for free agents. It seems like the point guards kind of didn't have the greatest depth. But I start with Javon Carter. I think Javon Carter is a really interesting free agent to have. He's a good shooter on decent volume. 4 attempts, he shot 42%. I mean that's interesting because he wasn't a great shooter in the past. Like we've seen flashes, but him the last few years in Milwaukee he has been a pretty decent shooter. Ability to run secondary pick and roll alongside Drew Holiday, like it's a really important skill for point guards to be able to run pick and roll. And sometimes when you need to have play two guards, it's difficult because one guard will be more dominant. He can be the guy that'll slide back and play kind of that secondary role. Good shot creation, gritty defender. I mean, he had some playoff struggles, but I think he's a winning kind of player. Like you would want on your team to play maybe 20 to 25 minutes. So I think Javon Carter definitely has like some interesting suitors for free agency.
Who do you think he would head off to?
I think he'll probably have to stay in Milwaukee,
No.
but the for all these guards, I have to say, man, like the Lakers seem like the most interesting destination for all these guys.
Um, just to play off my ear right now, what I did was I listed what I think were the top 30 interesting free agents,
Oh, okay.
and I threw one to each team in terms of fit and need.
We should have
That's
done
what
that,
I
Ryan. Why did you tell me?
because I did this last night when one of our guests couldn't make it.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I said fuck it, and I just decided to switch it up a little bit. But it'd be interesting to see like both our perspectives through
So you
this
have a
lens.
team for each of these guys.
I have 30 top, so that means like some of the I don't have Javon Carter at all. That means
Mm.
you at least had something for him. I did not. I included the top 30 guys I think were the best or might from each position as well. They're like 6 point guards, maybe four power forwards. Like it was a range.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll explain as we go.
Right. I just had an overview, like an overview on these guys,
Yeah,
like why I think they'll be good. But yeah, okay,
definitely.
that's
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. So if we start with point guards, I think the most interesting one that I have is Russell Westbrook. I
Hmm.
talked about this with you on Sunday when we were playing ball. I think to the Phoenix Suns, considering they don't have Chris Paul anymore, and if they do win a ring, Russell Westbrook and KD, and if they sign Serge Ibaka, who knows? Like
Oh my god,
that,
Ibaka! Come on,
that's
they
the,
don't bring Ibaka back. He's a role
that
player, a screen
he's
setter.
in my Fuzi chef. Like, but I think Westbrook, finally winning a ring with KD can crush all of those narratives
Mm.
and have a nice ending to it. Like we never get that in the NBA. We rarely get something nice like this now. But it would be really nice to see if Westbrook does go to the Suns. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, and I would just love to see them play together one more time, have one more run at a chip, and if they win, it's nice, you know?
Yeah, and if it can't be any worse, I mean, they have 3 stars. Like Westbrook can be that big energy guy off the bench. So yeah, I think
Exactly.
him to Phoenix would be a really interesting kind of look for them.
Yeah. So that's who I think Phoenix should sign. So if we were to base it off of what I did,
Hmm.
once Phoenix is crossed out, we
No
can't
more
send any more.
Phoenix.
I can't no more no they get no more big free agents.
Okay,
They can
that's
sign
fair
maybe
enough.
like low key guys like Derrick Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I had
Wesley
like
Matthews, right? But
that's
that's fine.
hilarious. I had Derrick Rose as my number two for me, but listen,
Where's he going?
Derrick Rose, he's not washed. Okay, he's not washed,
He's
and
definitely not watched, just injured.
yeah, he's just injured. I'm still holding on to his 1 year in Detroit with him and Blake Griffin. He averaged
Same.
18 points per game. He was really impressive. I mean, he's definitely not as explosive as he was in Chicago, but any contender should be having a look at him. I mean, seriously, like Derrick Rose can be your someone off the bench playing 20 25 minutes, provide instant value,
Hey,
decent mid
back to
range game.
Chicago. Back
Oh,
to the
I
Bulls.
mean, maybe. I mean, him and DeRozan,
They need a point
Levine,
guard. They need a point
they
guard.
have Pat Bev. He's the goat. I don't know about that. But I mean, for any contender, he's a cheap option. Even Phoenix, like you said, like he can sign there. Like he kind of understands that he's not what he was in the past, and I think he's kind of underrating who he is as a player. Like
Hmm.
he's signing a lot of small contracts where I think that he could probably sign a contract over 10 million easily, or if it, I don't know,
Probably, actually, yeah.
just
Derrick
to
Rose.
be a starting point guard. But if you can get him for cheap, any of the contenders like Milwaukee, L.A., Phoenix, if you can get him and you can have him as maybe not your starting, but like first guy off the bench, it definitely would help any of those contenders.
Definitely. I think Milwaukee is a very interesting choice, considering um Giannis already has a ring, and maybe D Rose might want to not build off of that, but like be part of something special in Milwaukee. Because I like the Bucks, I really do,
Hmm.
and seeing one of my favorite players pair up with one of the most dominant players right now, that would be really cool dynamic there. But I can see him going to any contending team for sure, not anywhere like Orlando.
Yeah, he's not going to no bum team. And then
Definitely not.
imagine he goes to like Houston. Bro, I'll be done, dude. I'm done watching that, dude.
I would cry. I would cry for sure. Um, for Bulls, there wasn't a perfect fit in my opinion.
Okay.
They need a point guard sorely, and we talked about how D Rose potentially could go back.
Hmm.
I think considering what they have, their best bet is D'Angelo Russell.
Whew. How will the money work there?
The money is not very nice right now there, but Vucevic is coming off the books, and I have him going elsewhere, and I'll let you
Hmm.
know in a bit.
Okay.
I think when he played alongside LeBron, he was able to, well, aside from the playoffs,
Yeah.
but
Regular season. Yeah.
regular season, I think he did a really good job at setting up his teammates. I think
Yeah.
he was a great catch and shoot threat when he didn't have the ball in his hands,
Right.
and that team is just full of like solid rotation or like pieces that you want on a good team. Like you still have DeMar DeRozan, who is a great playmaker now.
Yeah.
Like who knows, maybe slide him up to the one. We'll see how things go there. But I think you have DeMar DeRozan, you have D'Angelo Russell, and Zach LaVine. Not the greatest defensive quote unquote big three, but definitely some team that can make a shot at maybe a fifth or sixth seed.
That's an interesting one. D'Lo to the
Yeah.
Bulls. I think.
And Lonzo's out.
Oh
Lonzo's out for
man, don't even
sure.
bring
Yeah.
Alonzo, man. Oh my
So
god,
so
that is such a shame.
they need a point guard. They need a point guard for
They
real.
do, they do, but I think defensively, it really is the issue.
Yeah.
I think offensively is a great reason to sign him. Like he can be so complimentary to those guys, but just defensively, man, they have their two
They
stars
will
as the
die, bro.
shittiest defenders. Yeah, maybe they'll just go full offense like Houston. Like maybe they'll just do that.
Bro, your thing is just Houston all the day.
I know. I just keep bringing up Houston, dude. Why am I so obsessed with Houston? But for me,
Yeah.
my third guard that I had, it's surprising because I had a bunch of just low key guys that I think that can
Hmm.
contribute. I had Dennis Smith Jr. as my third
And
guy.
so I was thinking I wanted to include him, but I was like, he's Austin's probably going to talk about him already.
Yeah, like I have these grimy players here. No, listen, his stats may not show, but he had a big bounce back year in Charlotte.
In Charlotte,
Huge
yeah.
energy, became one of the best on ball defenders in the league.
Great
Explosive
fantasy
athlete.
pickup.
Yeah, fantasy pickup, of course.
Great fantasy pickup.
I think just to say just to put it in like one sentence, like he's just a jump shot away from being a Bruce Brown kind of player. Like seriously,
Mm.
he could really help a contender come off the bench and provide that spark. He's such an energy guy. I mean, seriously, he comes in the game and just goes off. So I think any contender that can pick him up, maybe not even playing 20 minutes, like just somewhere near like 18 minutes a game, he can provide value, and he's gonna be
Definitely.
super cheap. I'm assuming like great defender. No, I mean, listen, he could shoot here and there, but offensively he is kind of limited. Just an explosive athlete that can play amazing defense. Like, just pick him up. Why not? A contender could really use a player like that.
I think speaking of like a team that needs a backup point guard, I think a great fit for him. I don't have him listed. Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
They
Like
have a
they, yeah.
liability in Trey Young at the one in
Mm,
defense. So if he's not playing, and DeJounte Murray's pretty much playing the two now. So you put
yeah.
him in, you sub him in when Trey Young's not the ideal matchup.
We've seen this with Chris
I
Dunn
think,
actually.
yeah,
They
exactly.
had Chris. Yeah, this
Uh,
could definitely be a Chris Gunn 2.0.
yeah, I think that would be really cool to see.
That's interesting.
Dennis Smith in with the Hawks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not. I could see. I also see him just resigning in Charlotte.
I mean, yeah,
Like
definitely.
like backing up Lamelo doesn't hurt. Maybe he would want starting or more minutes. Maybe not to start, but like just more minutes.
Mhm.
But it's just pretty safe for him in Charlotte. Like he's already built that culture there. But yeah, I definitely like your suggestion.
Yeah, I got a few more to list off because
Yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
get to the next positions. Irving to the Lakers, like we said earlier.
Oh, okay.
The mid-level exception might sign that. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
VanVleet to the Rockets. Don't think he's staying.
To the
Don't think he's
Rockets.
to the Rockets. But he has that good leadership though. He's a good vet there.
Okay, okay, I
I
guess.
think he'd be a good fit. And there's a lot of rumors surrounding his mutual interest right now.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Patrick Beverly to the Hawks. That's who I had going to Atlanta
Makes some
because
sense.
that dog, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, Dennis Schroeder, Clippers. They need a point guard right now.
Yeah.
They were chasing Chris Paul. Russell Westbrook signing them will probably be the most ideal thing, considering he already has chemistry with Kawhi and Paul George.
Mm,
But Shooter to the Clippers, he can still distribute the ball and score if needed, considering he'll be like the third or fourth option off
right.
that rotation, right? And I think the Spurs also still need a point guard, considering they can still resign Trey Jones, but if they want a more like none of these guys have been to the playoffs or have vast experience there,
Right.
get Gabe Vincent.
Whole give it. Yeah.
I think he's Spurs culture type of guy.
Mm.
And what if he develops into someone that can play really well alongside Wemby? I think he would really benefit from having that.
Yeah, I think the Spurs they can have multiple shots to just sign a decent point guards because I think that's the most important thing that Wemby might need. So
Yeah.
I
So
think Shooter and Vincent are two guys that I really like there.
yeah, I think Gabe Vincent is a much more Spurs type of guy than Shooter though.
I can see it. I can see
Yeah.
it.
Let's move on to the shooting guards.
You
Start
want me
you
to
off.
start this? Okay.
Yeah.
My number one, Nikhil Alexander Walker. I pretty much glaze this guy so much, but him this playoffs has intrigued me a lot as a big 3-and-D player. I mean, in the Pelicans, he was supposed to be kind of this scorer off the bench, but that just didn't pan out. He kind of bounced around a bit. Coming into the season, like we still didn't see that much of him, but he's improved his jump shooting a lot, and I think next season he can easily play like 20 plus minutes easily. He's flying under the radar with a lot of the strong shooting guards, but I think Nikhil Alexander Walker does have a place in this league. We've seen it in the playoffs, and he's only turning 25. He has so much potential for the future. So I think he might be someone really interesting to kind of take a shot on it. Like either a contender or even like one of these teams that just maybe need guards. Like even the Spurs could take a shot at him.
He definitely seems like a Spurs type of guy. I
Everyone
think
is for you, bro.
anyone low key is a Spurs type of
Yeah,
guy. Like
anyone low key.
that's
Yeah,
just it. Like LeBron, I don't know, but
LeBron.
I think NAW is like really intriguing fit
Nah,
with anyone. Nah, yeah.
nah.
But I'm not too sure where he would be the best fit right now though. Maybe back to New Orleans.
I think Minnesota's actually a great fit for him. Like,
Minnesota's actually a pretty good fit when he was there, right? He,
yeah, that's where he
yeah,
was
he
this
was.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was actually a pretty good fit off the bench too. So I think that'd be interesting for him to stay.
yeah. I mean, if they had like an actual point guard, him being the two, I would not mind that for him to play the 2 minutes. Like,
Mhm.
if I could see him playing even 30 plus minutes, be a starter for that team if they just had a point guard.
Move Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
But if anything, yeah, that's Mike Conley's playing the one for sure.
Oh yeah,
Or
Mike.
Anthony Edwards can play the three. Put Nikhil Alexander Walker the two.
Why did I
That'd be
forget about Mike Conley? I thought he was on the Jazz still. No, Mike Conley
no,
is.
he's on
That
the
team is
Timberwolves.
perfect. If they just fix up that front court, they're good. Honestly, they gotta trade Cat. If I'm
No,
being honest.
I think they should trade. No, that's the topic for next time. But I think Cat's gone.
Do you know what's that? Okay, maybe I don't know how much time do we have, but I actually had this written down. I want to ask you if you knew, or just a little bit of trivia.
Yeah,
So, Cat did sign this big contract a few years ago. So I want to ask you, how much money will Cat make in the 2027-2028 season?
it's 27, 28. So that's like 3 years from now.
Yeah,
Three,
for
4 years now.
like almost
Is this the first?
5 years.
It's like entering the first year of his contract right now. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is gonna be like the last. Like, this is the big one. It's the last year. The player
Okay, so
option.
assuming he signed a $200 million contract for
Mm.
5 years, that's
Mm.
around 40 million, but that's only the average. So if we start off around like 30 million and we make our way up,
Mm-hmm. Oh my! You're actually gonna do this?
I'm gonna say within the 55 to $65 million range.
Damn, Ryan, you are pretty much spot on. He's gonna make $61 million
Yeah,
that year.
yeah,
Wow, look at you, Ryan.
yeah,
Oh my god, right. Big math. And just one more question. In terms
yeah.
of average annual value, where do you think Cat is gonna rank amongst the whole league?
By that point,
Mm,
or right now?
right now.
Right now, not a top,
Well, I
not a
guess
top
with that
contender.
contract, with that
With
contract.
that contract,
Yeah.
ooh, because what, he's 28 right now? 20, 27, 28 right now?
Yeah, he's getting old.
Damn, that's old, old. Um, I'm gonna say he's top 17,
Top 17?
top 17. He'll, by that point of his career, he's probably a stretch big, but he's no longer an all-star type
Yeah,
of guy.
maybe.
Yeah.
Because Ryan, by now, he's third in the league. In terms of all contracts that are signed right now, he's third.
Damn.
And do you want to try to name the two guys that are in front of him?
Jokic?
No.
No, no. Jokic just
I'll
hasn't
give you
come
two
in
more
yet.
guesses. I'll give you two more guesses.
These are big men, right?
No.
Or just any players.
Any players?
Any players. Steph.
No.
Oh damn. I thought
How's
I
that?
had that. I'm gonna say Giannis next then.
No, no, it's
No, none of
Damian
those.
Lillard and Devin Booker. So
Damn.
he's at this point, like with that contract signed, he's gonna be paid the third most starting this year. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
For
And
someone
Devin
that we're
Booker,
talking about having trade value, like being a trade candidate.
damn. Damn, Cat, you got Minnesota fumbled, bro.
Yeah, they fumbled for sure. That contract's way too big, bro.
That's a doozy, bro. Like I
Yeah, they are
don't know.
fucked, man. They are fucked,
So
and they have no
fucked.
picks. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Gobert.
Yeah, Danny Ainge
But
actually just.
Gobert's a better fit on the Timberwolves than Cat, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, we'll see. I think if they get to trade him, Minnesota will breathe finally. Like they'll,
Then
but
the other team is fucked. Like that's the
yeah,
thing. Like
others.
the other team is fucked.
It's just passing around bad contract now.
Yeah,
It's a relay race, bro. That's
it
just what
is,
it
bro.
is.
It is. Like each team is like trying to be first on like the shittiest contracts.
It is what it is. All right, all right. Let's rewind a little. Let's rewind
Okay,
a
okay.
little.
We
All
got we
right,
gotta get
shooting
going. We
guards,
gotta get
shooting
going.
guards. Uh, I think Karis LeVert should go to the Hornets.
Mm. Why is that? Why
Yeah,
is that?
they need bench scoring, and we've seen in Indiana, we've seen in Brooklyn that he can provide that a lot. When he's in Cleveland, he has good touches, he has great teammates, but he's not the guy, you know. And I feel like Karis LeVert wants more opportunities to prove himself. If he goes to Charlotte, uh, he's probably not starting, but he'll be the only option off the bench. So he's going to be a six man of the year candidate if he goes to the Hornets.
I guess there's a lot of opportunity for him there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like his offense has fallen off so much. Like he's more
Well,
of just like a great
he's not getting
defender at this
touches,
point.
right? I don't think he's not getting touches. That's the number
I
one thing. You have
mean,
Mitchell in front of you,
hmm
Garland, and then you also like Isaac Coro's not really doing anything there, but
yeah.
you have Jared Allen catching all the lobs. Evan Mobley's actually pretty crazy right now, and I don't know. I think it's just he's just not getting touches he wants because of all the other guys ahead of him.
That's fair
But
enough.
Karis LeVert, I think if he goes to Charlotte, six man of the year.
Maybe a big bounce back here, but he has been missing shots. But I hope to see him do a bit better.
I mean, volume scorers got to miss shots, right?
True, true. That is true. Unless
Yeah,
you're Jokic,
he doesn't need to miss. He just can't.
he can miss. Actually, yeah,
He
he
can't
can.
miss.
He
That's
just
just
throws
it.
up bullshit and it goes in.
I think we might be running a little low on time. Do you want to list
Yeah,
one more? Like maybe like two for each one.
yeah,
Like
sure,
just
sure.
one more shooting guard. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think Jordan Clarkson is an interesting
Yeah.
one for any contender. average 20 points per game this year. Modern day, just a pure bucket getter, and any
I
team
know.
needs that, especially with this NBA where defense is on ball defense isn't as important now, just with all like the helping and stuff and all the stats that he can play for all these bad
Yeah.
defenders on your team. I think he's definitely worth to take a look at.
I think for Jordan Clarkson, he should go to the Raptors. We
Whew,
need
okay.
we need shot making. We need shot making. And considering what the guards were doing this past season, like you bring in Jordan
Yeah.
Clarkson, maybe we can get something going there.
Okay, that's actually a great place to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I also got Bruce Brown going to the Cavs.
Okay.
Yeah. Great wing player there.
Good
We
fit.
talked we talked about him a lot last
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah, we
but
definitely did.
we know about Bruce Brown and his stuff. Austin Reeves going to the Jazz. He wants to make as much money as he can, and you
Yeah.
surround that guy with young talent. Like he's that young talent. So
He is.
who
He
knows?
is.
He could. Uh,
Okay.
Malik Beasley to the Magic. I don't think that's nothing
Yeah.
too
That's
special, but they need
fine.
wing players, right? And he can provide that. That that
Yeah.
veteran,
With Terrence
that veteran.
Rosscon, yeah, bring him in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Dante DiVincenzo, I think going to the Pistons would be a nice fit. They have too many guards and big men with like Cade, Wiseman, Duran, Ivy. You bring in a wing like him, maybe they could do something with that.
I mean, he's more of a two, but he can slide to a three, I
He
guess.
can slide to the three. Yeah, he's played that in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Small forwards. Let's start with start you.
Small
Name-
forwards. I'll just name one right now. Okay. Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish, near the tail end of his tenure in New York and this tenure right now in Portland, it's been encouraging. Like we've seen him being labeled as a bust. He still has great size. He still is a good shooter, 84% free throw shooter. Defensively, he has a lot of potential. And he's only 24 next season. I mean, he's someone that you could definitely see break out for any other team. I just feel like he's just an opportunity away from being like a starting caliber wing. So I think Reddish is definitely interesting to look at. Probably not going to demand that much money, and if Portland does choose to rebuild, he can definitely be one of those guys that can kind
that could be
of
part of that, right?
yeah be part of the
Yeah.
rebuild.
I think Cam Reddish is a great fit with a lot of different teams as a bench player because Cam Reddish, when he first started in the league, he kind of demanded superstar touches, although he wasn't
Yeah,
there
he
yet, right?
wasn't that.
So I think he went to a very bad team, let's say Orlando. Oh, why am I shitting on Orlando so much? But let's say he did go there, he would definitely be the number one or two option there because considering he has the size, he has the skills,
Number one two option. No way. No way.
or
No
like he
way.
could be someone that could get those shots
He
up.
can get shots up. Like Wizards. If
Yeah.
he goes to the Wizards, then yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep forgetting about the other
most
Magic
irrelevant
clubs.
team in the league. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a cool fit. I didn't have him listed.
Mm.
I think my most interesting one over here is Jay Crowder back to the Grizzlies.
Oh my God, Jay Crowder.
I think they need that veteran leadership. Although they have Marcus Smart already, they need more of that.
They do.
And you bring him in, and I think and Brooks is gone. There won't be that much beef anymore. So,
Mm. That's a good
uh,
fit.
yeah. Do you want me to list everyone else?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I just had
Who's
Oubre and Toscano Anderson for me.
Oubre? Yeah, I have Oubre to the Bucks. They
Oh, I
need
like
they need
that.
they need scoring on the wing, right?
They do.
So I think
Yeah, that was
that'd
my
be a great
reasoning.
fit.
Yeah.
Kuzma to the Heat because Butler, Bam, and Hero. You bring in Kuzma,
Oh
finals
my
bound
God,
again.
they are.
Yeah. Brooks to the Kings. Dylan Brooks with the Kings. They were 24th in defense last year. So you bring in an elite defender there on the wing, that can make a lot of noise actually.
I like that.
Torrey Craig, Knicks. They need 3-point shooting. And Joe Ingles, Celtics. I think he just looks like a Celtic. So they need shooting as
What?
well.
That's the okay.
But I think the Celtics need a lot of shooting, and because they shot really poorly in the playoffs, so he could bring that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power forwards, go ahead.
Power forwards. I had O'Shea Brissett as one of my guys.
Yeah,
His
I
his,
I want to
his
start.
role has fallen off recently, but I mean, I just feel like he just lost his role to like other players. It seems like he's still. I mean, he's a amazing teammate. That's the one thing that I really want to punctuate with him is he's an amazing teammate, great locker room guy. People love to play with him. Impressive athlete, great energy. Has shown that he can shoot in the past. He shot 42% in 2021. So I feel like, I mean, listen. I mean, he is only 25,
Yeah.
but if any team could get him as like a backup four, maybe a backup
Do I
three
said
ish, maybe
San
like
Antonio?
San Antonio, like why not? Like bring someone like that in. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt. He's a great guy. So yeah, I think I
yeah,
like him.
for
Yeah.
sure. For me, I have I'll just list what I got.
Yeah,
Jeremy Grant to the Pacers. I think with his impact and pairing him with Tyrese Halliburton, I think that'd be really cool.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, and they could actually be a playoff team if that happens because
Yeah,
Tyrese grows, Buddy's still there. You have
Turner.
Miles Turner's still there, and Jeremy Grant can. He's like not a superstar, but he's like someone who can like take it in. You've seen him in
Yeah, you
Detroit,
see him
right?
Portland and Detroit.
You,
Portland and Detroit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think Jeremy Grant to the Pacers, great fit. George Niang. This was a harder one for me to decide, but I think the Timberwolves. Um, if Gobert's not playing his best, you slide Cat to the five and you bring Niang to stretch the floor, or the other way around. If Cat's not shooting, you bring Niang. He was one of the best 3-point shooters
yeah.
in that position last season. So I think George Niang would be a great fit with the Timberwolves. Rui Hachimura, 76ers. If Embiid and Harden choke, you've seen what you see Rui Hachimura step up big time with the Lakers in the postseason last year or like this past season. So I think if he goes to Philly, it'd be really cool. And Trey Lyles to the Warriors. They need a cheap backup big. Not saying he will be cheap, but if all the other big names are gone and Trey Lyles is still looking for a team, I think Golden State should pick him up. Uh, your next guy is Kevon Looney, and then blank on the bench. Like
Lady Blank, like no one.
you put Lyles there, I think that would be a proper fit.
Yeah, okay, I agree with those, man.
Yep. And then centers. Let's move on to that.
Centers, the one I really want to talk about was Mars Leonard, and I'm still reminiscing
Oh,
about.
the,
Listen, I mean
the Portland days?
that one game in Portland, Game 4. I forgot what playoffs it was. 30 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 3 pointers. He carried them to a win. I can't get over that. But all in all, I mean, he still is like one of the best shooting big men in the league right now.
Yeah.
He's still a big body, still a good rebounder, still a good teammate. I mean, why not? If Kevin Love is getting minutes in the playoffs, Myers
Why
Leonard can
not
get like,
Leonard, right?
yeah, exactly. He's someone. I mean, he's on blackballed by the NBA. I feel like, but he's still a decent player. I mean, a great backup big. Like he can kind of play kind of that Plumlee role as a backup big.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
it doesn't hurt to kind of bring him in to just be a body behind your first big
I think a viable destination for him would be Brooklyn
behind Claxton.
behind Claxton because he fills all the slots that Claxton doesn't fill, and
Mm.
they complement each other really nicely. If they're
That's an
playing
interesting
small,
tandem.
you
Yeah,
play Leonard. If they're playing big, play Claxton, right?
yeah. Claxton can move his feet. Myers can. Like it's interesting. You can have a lot of
And
matchups.
Claxton can't shoot, Myers can. Like
Myers can. Yeah.
it just works out nicely that way. I cannot think of Myers Leonard, but that's really good.
It's my boy.
My final centers, Brooke Lopez. I think he's leaving Milwaukee, going to the Trailblazers. They do need help on the defense. They do need help on the
He's
defense.
gonna take
If
over Nurkic's spot.
if you move Nurkic and you get maybe a few young, solid um, role players around Dame, I think they can actually maybe
Yeah.
compete this year
Yeah.
around.
Even just replace Nurkic with Lopez, and that could just do it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying because he was a defensive player of the year candidate this past season.
Yeah.
So
All NBA candidate for anything. Like
exactly, and Dame needs the defense. Portland needs the defense. Why not bring someone in that can guard the perimeter and the paint,
that'd be
and he can
dream.
hit
Like
threes?
yeah, and the three's the most important part. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though Nurkic has started to hit threes, but like it's a bit too late. Like we need someone
it's
established.
you need someone who is the 3-point god
Yeah. Exactly. 3 point guard,
from the
dude.
five from the five. I think Brook Lopez is a good fit in Portland.
Hmm.
Uh, this one might surprise you. Vucevic to the Thunder.
He's gonna be Al Horford again for the like. It
Here's the
does
thing: they
the
were
pit stop.
25th in rebounding last year, and
Okay.
Vucevic grabbed like 11 or 12 rebounds a game.
Hmm.
And if you're not gonna rely on what Chet Holmgren, like skinny ass Chet Holmgren, to grab
Jeremiah
all the boards
Robinson
for you.
Earl.
These guys, they're even though they're still on the roster, they still are very bad in terms of rebounding. You grab Vucevic there, and he can probably get you a lot more boards, a lot more possessions, and if they aren't a competing team, flip him. You can get a
Yeah,
lot of good value for him.
we seen the I already said this already, but like we seen them do with Al Horford in the past, where they brought him in. He was a great veteran presence for Shea, played a great alongside him, and he was playing really well. They flipped him. They flipped him for I think Kemba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
did, and the wave came after, but
yeah, I think they got
but yeah.
I think I got or one or two first round picks for that too. But like yeah,
Mhm.
you just bring these guys in. Why not? It helps the young guys. If you want to compete, you can play with Vucevic on the floor. If you don't, trade him. Like it
And they
doesn't hurt.
work.
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt, and they up their defense. They're up their not defense,
not
rebounding
defense,
about
rebounding.
numbers.
Yeah,
So
that's what they need.
yeah,
Okay.
I think Vucevic is a great pick for the great destination or for the Thunder, but that's just what I think.
No, I
Um,
really like this suggestion.
Christian Wood to the yeah, Christian Wood to the Wizards. It's not. This was my least clean fit, but they just need another big man to run alongside because Kristaps is gone.
Mm.
So just need another big man to run
Yeah,
alongside Jordan Poole. It's kind of just like, it's whatever type of type of signing
yeah.
at
Like
this
just
point.
bring him in. Like he's a
And
good player that has just kind of
bring in
fallen by the wayside.
if he works, yeah, if he works and they win games, great. If they don't, flip him. That's my favorite saying now. Flip him.
Flip him, dude. It'll work. It'll work. Yeah.
That's it'll work. Yeah. Mason Plumlee to the Mavs. They did get Rashawn Holmes, but I think Rashawn Holmes, while he can be a starting center, Mason Plumlee is much more established as that. So and he's really underrated. Like
I'd rather have Plumlee as a
Mason
starting center
Plumlee
ahead
is
of
not.
Holmes.
Yeah. So you can bring that way. Dallas has two quality centers now instead of none. So bring Mason Plumlee in. Mavs get their center, and yeah, they're much more packing on that instead of being thin.
Whoa, pause, Ryan. Whoa, whoa. Packing instead of being thin. Whoa. But no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, Plumlee's a really interesting
But
one.
yeah,
And I think the last one I
yeah,
was going to mention was Robin Lopez. Just another body you can have on the floor.
yeah, he is.
He's kind of stuck behind the Cleveland front court right now, but he also someone that I can see being kind of a Plumlee type. He's a big body, like he's someone that can defend the
Big, but
post. He has
it's the
some.
hair, bro.
It's the hair, yeah, it's the hair. That's
It's
what
the
provides him
hair.
all the mass, dude. Good passer, like he's someone that you can have off the bench and complement all these. Like usually the bench guys are scorers and like guys that have some liabilities. He can kind of be the guy that can just facilitate for those guys, like be a passer. So I think Lopez is interesting for some of these younger
And
teams.
even if he doesn't play, Robin can be just the veteran presence. He's been on
True,
so
yeah,
many teams. He's played with so many different players. Like he knows how to match personalities. The only thing he
yeah.
doesn't get along with is mascots. But
Yeah,
like, who
and
cares about those,
who
right?
cares about them? Yeah, exactly.
Let me just finish this up. Dwight Powell to the Pelicans. They need a big body. When Valanciunas sits. So I think he would be a really interesting backup center there. The
Okay.
only reason why I didn't have him going back to the Mavs is just because getting Rashawn Holmes might uh unmotivate him to be like their next starter or their center.
I can see that.
So that's my only reasoning behind it. But I think Powell to the Pelicans would be a great fit there. Thomas Bryant to the Nets. Um, he's a he's a big that can shoot, and like we said earlier with Myers Leonard, they complement each other skill set wise. But I honestly like the Myers Leonard fit better than what I have here. But I think Thomas Bryant could still fit if he doesn't go there.
Yeah.
And finally, the Nuggets need rim protection, and the other big name on this list is Andre Drummond. So bring him in. Like that, it didn't work with Embiid, but Jokic already won a championship. Maybe Drummond wants to ring chase too.
Hey, maybe, and he'll play less minutes too. Like he's only playing a few minutes.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't need to play a 30 minutes game. He just needs to play like two.
yeah, literally, he can provide value.
Yeah, but those are who I have for this upcoming free agency.
Those are some interesting names that you pulled out. Honestly,
I think you had a lot more underrated and nice names than
I
I
like
had.
garbage players that might not even get contracts, bro.
I think these were just guys I think um made the most sense for each team. So I
Yeah.
just decided, yeah, let's go with them.
Okay. That was actually a really interesting conversation because we both had different dynamics, but I like the way you went with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the power forward was definitely the most thin um
I wrote
ball
Baisley
position.
as one of my guys. Like that's how thin it was.
Basically, that's
Baisley
tough.
doesn't even touch the court, so yeah.
Here he is basically going
That's my
to the
boy
what?
though. Going probably to Brooklyn to to be
Probably
honest.
nah, San Antonio.
Oh yeah, San Antonio, San
San
Antonio.
Antonio.
Or banish him to
Milwaukee.
Washington even.
Orlando.
Oh hell no, dude.
Nah. But yeah, I think this is definitely my most favorite time of the year and always thinking of destinations. I love doing this. And
Hmm.
if they don't sign these places, that means they fucked up. Because
Yeah, they fucked up.
I
Yeah.
I think of the most ideal situation. I'm not saying I'm a god or anything, but I
I
think
mean, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know the NLBL. So if they don't
I
sign you, they're fucked.
I think these are the most ideal spots on paper
Mm,
because they provide what each team needs and they complement each other.
right.
Yeah, I
All
just
right.
wish Derrick Rose got more attention. That's all.
I know. I wish. I wish. But yeah, we have been running a really late on time right now. But
All right.
I'm glad we got through it. Any last words, Ryan?
Um, Looking forward to free agency on Friday, and take it away, Austin.
All right. You listen to another episode of Carter Kings, and we'll see you in a few weeks.